How's it going, everyone? I'm Virasian Raven, and this is a little bit of an oddball deck profile that I got for you guys today. I didn't want to show the same Shadow, Dragon Maid, or any other kind of deck that I got on me at the moment, because I'm just using the same 4 decks at the moment. Well, same 3 technically. My 4th deck was a little bit of an enigma for me for quite some time, but then I thought to myself, you know what, let's have a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek fun and laugh. Let's actually try and get an old format defying deck and see if I can make a modern adaptation of it. And here we are. I decided to take Teledad and decided to make a modern incarnation of it. Gotta give some props to one of my friends for helping me out with this. For security reasons, I'll just leave his name as Crow. So with that, we're just going to shut up and jump right into the deck profile. Like the Defiant format itself, it needs only 2 dads. Dark-Armed is literally the heart and soul of a deck. The reason why he was given the name Teledad for his deck way back when was mainly because he was the win condition of the deck, and he does a fantastic job in doing so. Summoning him is ridiculously easy, even for this build, and trying to pretty much control the game from the 2nd turn onwards is pretty much all in green thanks to this one guy alone. Even though his effect is not that much useful anymore, a lot of things gain benefits from being destroyed, it's still ridiculously easy to get him on the board. He isn't a once per turn at all, and you can just easily decimate a lot of boards thanks to this guy alone. Next up, I'm running double copies of Chaos Dragon Levenier. What actually makes Levenier kind of helpful in this deck is that he can control the amount of darks that you have in your graveyard for when you're actually summoning him. So summoning him and summoning Dark-Armed can be a whole lot easier thanks to his effect alone, just simply trying to control the amount of darks that you can have in your graveyard, which makes him a whole lot more useful than cards like any one of the Chaos cards like Blacklisted Soldier, Chaos Emperor Dragon, etc, etc, etc. So that is it for our boss dragons of a main deck. Now let's actually get into the actual core aspect of the deck of actually starting things out. And believe it or not, we're going Crusadia. Yes, we're going Crusadia. Get Rev's cards in this house. Whilst Crusadias work well with themselves, we're mainly using them to special summon extenders to link points monsters point to. And of course, with this ratio of 3 Maximus, double Arboreal and triple Draco, it's blatantly obvious that we're going with a Crusadia Guard Dragon path. And of course, we are going to be running triple Rocket Tracer. Yes, we have rockets in here, mainly because the new E-Tele now is Quick Launch, which allows us to summon 3 of him, or the 1 Magna, or the 1 Silver, or if you really just want to be outlandish, the 1 Rocket Synchron. And of course, we cannot forget the Absorata Dragon, which is in the deck as well. We are running 2 other Chaos monsters in the deck, being 1 of each of Black Dragon and White Dragon. These 2 are just extenders to special summon themselves by banishing 1 of the opposing attribute from the graveyard, and as soon as they're sent to the graveyard, they fetch the opposing attribute Dragon from your deck to your hand. These guys, along with Chaos Space, is just simply nuts. We're also running the 1 Galactic Spiral Dragon, primarily because he is just absolutely absurd and just really good at setting up rank 8 plays. Him, along with Levenier, or any other dragon for that matter, just equals automatic Hope Harbinger Dragon. I mean, why would you just say no to this guy? He's fucking absurd. Another absurd one is our Guard Dragon target being Omnidragon Protar. The absurd thing about Protar in this build is that he can search almost everyone. Boss monsters, extenders, everyone. Which would sound good to run multiples of him, but you don't want to see him immediately out of the get-go. He's actually kind of bad early game. Finally, this deck is just as good as going second as it is as going first, so to gain control of the game, we're actually running triple Ash Blossom and double Ghost Bell. Ash Blossom needs no explanation on why she's in here, and Ghost Bell, things are happening a lot in the graveyard in this format that involves a lot of special summoning from the graveyard and such, and of course shifting from the graveyard as well, which makes Ghost Bella fantastic. And to think things couldn't get more outlandish, we're running triple Allure of Darkness. I mean, why not? Next up is triple Quick Launch, the new E-Tele of Teledad. It is absurd. It restricts you to rockets, yes, but there's a reason why any form of Guard Dragon deck uses a mini rocket engine using this thing, and it is just ridiculous. Not hard once per turn at all, and the fact that it can just throw out any rocket from the deck to continue along with the plays is just borderline ridiculous. Next up we have the one boot sector launch, because Strike a Dragon is in the extra, and at the same time it can just help being an extender. Dragon's Ravine is a searchable Foolish Burial of a Romulus, and 2 Rogue Legacy Guard Dragons, mainly because it is a monster reborn for the dragons. And finally 2 more Foolish Burials in the form of an actual Foolish Burial and a Dragon Shrine. For the extra we have the 1 Dark-Armed Dragon of Annihilation. Oh, I'm sorry, Dark-Armed the Dragon of Annihilation. His spot in the extra is mainly to fulfill a 3rd guard dragon. There was 1 space left, so I decided to throw him in it. Plus he's absurdly easy to summon out. You just have to have 5 darks in your graveyard and a level 5 or higher dragon on the field. Boom, you slap him on top of that monster. He also has a once per turn Dark-Armed like effect, which is a little bit of a downgrade in comparison to Dark-Armed Dragon, but at the same time he's still absurdly easy to summon out, especially with how fast this deck is. He's just as easy to bring out, if not slightly easier, due to how out of control things can go in this deck sometimes. Even if you don't have access to a Dark-Armed Dragon, and if you still pull off your usual plays, ending a board with him and some other forms of interruptions is actually not half bad. Plus, he's a fantastic going second card. Another going second option is Mekk-Knight Crusader Avramax. This card is just bonkers if you're not running any form of game mechanism like Access Code, Boral Sword, or even this guy. I want to know what you're smoking, but I chose this guy mainly because he is absurd at what he can do. For starters, it has an absurd amount of protection, meaning that he cannot be targeted at all, and if anything of yours would be attacked, the attack has to convert to him and just him. Plus, if he fights a special summon monster, he gains the attack of that monster. And the nail in a coffin, if he is sent to the graveyard, he gets to shuffle 1 card on your opponent's side of the field. Must I explain why he is so absurd? We're also running him at the same time, mainly because he's a light monster. We don't want to run too many Link 4s that are dark mon. I also don't know why I'm running 2 of these, but hey ho, my friend Crow actually recommended this, and that is 2 Skull Dreads. Fixes your hand, summons a monster, and gives a slight attack boost. Yes please. This card is not necessarily required in here. In fact, to be quite frankly honest, I almost next to never go into it. In fact, I wouldn't actually mind replacing it at some point. And you want to know what card that is? Out of everything in the deck that I have to offer, I'm perfectly fine if I don't have to use this guy anymore. The deck functions fine without him. The 1 Romulus, just to mainly search out the Ravine. Sparta, because of a Crusader engine, of course, Sparta is just mad for this deck. Spheres, it's a compulse on legs and it summons a dragon from deck, why would I say no? The Guard Dragon Boys, the main playmakers of the deck, and easily one that can get things rolling at an absurd basis. Strike a Dragon, just to search a boot sector launch and to get things started. Magius, our first play enabler and one that's ridiculously easy to summon out. Hope Harbinger for the spell negates, and Borrowlord Savage Dragon for the Omni negates. And lastly, for our Dark Dragons, we have Chaos Ruler. Now, Chaos Ruler is just mainly an extender, and when I first heard the arguments of him being an extender that you don't necessarily need, I honestly at first thought to myself, why? He's a brilliant extender? And then I actually started playtesting this deck and I realized real quickly, I hardly bring this guy out. So, an extender, yes, but I can actually see the arguments for him. But we can't simply say no to this guy, because this guy can still recur out some of the dark monsters that you need from your deck to your hand. And that's the deck. It isn't supposed to be anything groundbreaking. I'm gonna make that loud and clear as of right now. This deck is mainly purely for fun. I just wanted to bring back an old icon like that so much, and I thought that this way would be one of the best ways to do so, and I'm so glad that I did do this way. Heck, I actually recommend trying to put a deck like this together to actually see what you can do with it. It's actually a whole lot of fun, and it can actually lead out to some very interesting interactions with your opponent when they suddenly see this bad boy just suddenly hit the floor. And to make things clear as well, don't worry, this guy is not much needed for the deck. You can easily still get by without him. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you have enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more content like this, and until next time, I bid you all adieu.